Hi guys! Sorry I'm late. I was going to do a live on Cripps Realty instead of my personal page, but I couldn't figure it out, so I'm here again. I hope you guys are all amazing and you had a fantastic Family Day weekend and Valentine's Day weekend. I know we got dumped on with a lot of snow, but it is winter in Canada, so you can't really get mad there. I still have not got my nails done. So I apologize for my massive hands across the screen sometimes. But I will go over my normal, which is real estate updates locally and in Ontario, as well as happy news and answer your guys' questions. If you want to ask any questions in the chat, you can. And if you would rather just privately message them to me, you can do that as well. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Sorry, Luke, I had to decline you. Just say hi, whoever's here. For some reason, sometimes I can see who's here and sometimes I can't. So right now I can see how many people are on, but I can't see who it is. So we're going to jump into the first question, which is from Chris and Nicole in Barrie. So Chris and Nicole said, what is a preemptive offer and is there a difference between that and a bully offer? So thank you, Chris and Nicole, for asking. So a preemptive offer means that a listing, like a home that's for sale or a commercial property or whatever, it means they're holding offers. So let's just say they list on a Friday and they're holding offers till maybe the next Wednesday or something. A preemptive offer means an offer that comes in before the Wednesday. And it's not different from a bully offer. It's the same, and it just means kind of like a bully in school. You're trying to get something ahead of time, basically, or not even ahead of time like a bully at school isn't, but that's what a bully offer is. So they're trying to get their offer accepted ahead of time. So usually, for example, if a home is listed for 800,000 or something and they're holding offers, a bully offer might offer 850 or 900 if they take it ahead of time, as opposed to waiting till the actual presentation date. So thank you for asking, Chris and Nicole. Hi, Justin. How are you? The next thing I was going to say before I get to real estate stuff is, could you ever be in a rowboat for 8 weeks? So basically, I go over happy news and real estate statistics and so forth, and questions. But this part of the happy news. Hello, Justin. Hi, Melissa. So I personally could not be in a rowboat for 8 weeks. But this fellow, what was his name? Frank, said he likes a challenge. He's 70 and he's a grandfather, and he rowed a boat from the Canary Islands all the way to Antigua, and it took him 8 weeks. And he did it for Alzheimer's research, and he raised $1.3 million. And his brother-in-law has Alzheimer's and actually passed away in his 8-week trek. But he, again, said he was up for a challenge always and likes that kind of thing. He once was on a deserted island for 5 weeks, so he's up for it, and I love how much money he raised for a good cause, so I love that. The next question comes from Jacqueline in Barrie. So Jacqueline said, do you think people should sell and take advantage of this crazy market and just rent and then buy later? Jacqueline, thank you for asking. Hi, Scotty. Happy live. I do think a lot of people are taking advantage of selling right now, myself included. I'm selling 3 properties this year, one just recently, and then one the beginning of March, only because there's tenants in until the beginning of March, and the other one as soon as the township of Bracebridge allows me to do so because I have some permits. But anyways, about renting, so the real estate across the board is supposed to go up 16.3% a year this year. So if, for example, you're to rent for a year, now those homes, obviously you take the average sales price, whatever, you times it by 16.3%, then you, one, paid somebody else's mortgage down for a whole year and paid all that money out, plus now that house is worth 16.3% on average more. It might be worth 20% more, it might only be worth 14% more, but so my answer would be no, not to rent. For that amount of time, I would sell now when there's not a lot of inventory, so you're in the driver's seat for selling, and then buy, say, April, May, when there's more homes on the market, because it's just normal, because a lot of people like to move right around kind of July 1st, the week before, a month after, etc., so people can get settled before school starts. So you could buy in that time when there's more inventory, whereas right now there's literally no inventory. Like later on when I talk about real estate, I'll tell you how many houses were listed in the past week and how many sold, and you'll see the lack of inventory is crazy. Row your boat. I know, Scotty. He rowed it for 8 whole weeks across the ocean. I would never do that. That would be really scary in a little tiny boat. It wasn't like an old fashioned boat, like obviously it was fancier, but it was just him in a rowboat. It was crazy. Um, so would you guys ever give like 1% of whatever you were doing to people in need? And the reason I say that, so there's this interior designer in Oregon. I can't speak today. Oregon. And she started this thing called 1% project. And basically, so she's an interior designer, and she asked all of her clients for every single project if she could add 1% on that would go to nonprofit local charities. It could be for homeless. It could be for I don't know, helping women, battered women, or in abusive situations, or children with autism, etc. Would they give 1%? And they all said yes except one, which kind of sucks to be that one person. They're like, oh, that everybody said yes but that one person. But anyways, so she's raised over $150,000, not because she charges so much and she's got 1%, but basically other people have used her example. So then other, like interior designers or architects or florists or what else did she say? Painters, plumbers, electricians have all started to use her 1% project. And so it's just people giving back to the community, because 1% doesn't seem like that much, as opposed to asking somebody, for all this money that's needed for all of these nonprofits. So I thought that was cute, and I like that. I don't remember her name, but anyways, I thought that was cool. I have no more questions before. Oh, yes, I do. I have one. Reminder that February is a short month, obviously. So March 1st, we do our giveaway again. So if anybody doesn't know, we give $2,500 away on the 1st of every month. So because February is short, we are almost at March 1st. So get your nominations in. You do not have to know Cripps Realty at all. I just say that because I own that, but you do not have to know Cripps Realty at all. You just have to, you don't even have to live in Simcoe County, but the person that wins has to live in Simcoe County, okay? So you could live in London, Ontario, or North Bay, or you could live in BC or whatever, but the winner has to live in Ontario and in Simcoe County, not just Ontario. And they have to be over the age of 18. So just either video like I'm doing right now, or send in a written submission if you're more shy and just say, hi, I'm Kristin, and I want to nominate Rebecca because she's like an awesome human being and I love her. She's a great sister, or she's a great friend, or she's a great mom, or whatever. Hi, Courtney. How are you? Hope all's well and you got spoiled for Valentine's Day. Next question comes from Mandy in Bradford. Mandy said, my husband and I are arguing over what is popular right now. What is the most popular when people are looking for homes to buy? I would say, Mandy, thank you for asking. The most popular, to be honest, is like staycation things. So whether it's a pool or like a gazebo in the backyard, like with a cool fire pit or one of those fire oven pizzas or whatever, as well as flex spaces. So like an extra bonus room that could be like a gym, or somewhere to homeschool the kids, or home office or whatever. So it's like still having your bedroom, still having your living room, your kitchen, etc., but that extra flex space, that's really popular. And like I said, the staycation, so something outside for them to do, because now they're not necessarily going to Europe or Cuba or wherever they're going. So flex spaces and staycations are the most popular. So thank you for asking. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, I wore a red and pink coat on Saturday and a red coat on Sunday for Valentine's. And one more thing before I do the real estate updates is, so there was a pizza joint that was robbed in Barrie, as well as Texas. Obviously, I'm sure lots were. But so in Barrie, basically, it was all on video. And so they obviously knew the fellow didn't want to do it. He was like shaking and crying throughout the video and didn't want to rob it. But obviously, some people are in tough times, so they sometimes do some tougher things. But in Texas, it was 30 minutes outside of Dallas. And instead of the owner like filing a report or being all mad or whatever, they actually posted a picture on Facebook, and they did a Pizza Heart, and they said, we're all going through tough times. We're all in this together. If you are having a hard time and you can't afford to feed your family, mention that you saw this post quietly to us and we will give you free pizza. So I thought that was super sweet because I love things like that. So now real estate, okay? So again, you guys can ask me questions in here if you want. Otherwise, I will just jibber jabber, okay? So another month obviously has passed. So January's passed, and we have all our statistics since for January. So another month's passed, but so has another month of broken records. Can't think. Broken records. So January broke records again. So there was 35.2% more homes that sold throughout Canada in January than January of 2020, which is crazy because we actually had 13.3% less in inventory. So 13.3% less homes, but more than 35% more homes sold in January of 2021 than 2020. And the average sales price was up 22.8%, which took the average home in Canada to over 600,000 to 621,525 to be exact. So crazy, again, breaking records. And I just randomly speak about real estate. So something like, if you were wondering like where the most rentals, somebody asked me the other day, like rentals are tenants paying their rent. So the highest place they are not paying their rent is Toronto. So 11% of landlords said that their tenants are not paying rent since COVID in Toronto. And most people, they're renting are maybe in like lower paying jobs that maybe are not working right now, or maybe they're in the service industry. They work at a restaurant that's been like open, closed, etc. So Toronto is got the highest number of renters not paying, just in case you are a landlord or looking to invest, maybe not Toronto. So bidding wars are still our norm. So yesterday, for example, if anybody tried to call me, I apologize yesterday if you called, because it was a hot mess yesterday. So we had 5 homes that had offer presentations yesterday. And we had our highest, so 2 highest yesterday. So one was the highest numbers of offers we've ever had. So previously it was in 2017 and it was a home in Innisfil. And it was a corner lot, and basically everybody wanted to divide it into multiple lots and tear down the cottage that was there. It had 37 offers. And we beat it yesterday, which was 71 offers. So we've never had it in the 40s, never had it in the 50s, never had it in the 60s. 71 offers yesterday on a property that has 752 square feet and 1 bedroom and a bunkie, which is insanity. 71 offers, so hence was crazy. I actually even had an offer come in at like 1:18 this morning, and I was like, your offer was supposed to be in at 6 p.m., not 1:18 in the morning. But anyways, it was already sold to somebody else. And then the other record we beat was the highest priced sold home ever in Aurelia that is not on the waterfront. So that was yesterday at a home that had 18 offers. 71, I know, is crazy, Justin. Hence why I don't sleep or eat much, because I don't have time. So why basically are there bidding wars? Well, because the low interest rates, right? People wanting to leave the city, people with the low interest rates being able to be approved for more. So they might have been approved for 400 last year. They have the exact same jobs now, and now they're approved for 525 or 540 or what have you. And then people realizing, okay, they can work from home, so they do want that flex space or whatever. They realize they want a yard, or they don't want to be up and down an elevator every day or whatever. So that is one of, or a few of the main reasons. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, because of the pandemic, a lot of, less people are putting their homes up for sale, which means there's less inventory again. So then more bidding wars, because there's more people trying to leave the city, and yet there's less listings for them to go to. So it's just spurring the whole bidding war snowball. There's this guy, Sean Cathcart, and he's the senior economist for the Canadian Real Estate Association. And he says he doesn't see that there will be any rush of inventory until all of the health concerns in Ontario are fixed and all better, which means our bidding wars are going to continue. So locally, Barrie keeps seeing an average every single week of 25 to 30% gain over the week before. And so does Niagara, Cottage Country, London, and Woodstock. So we're up in the top rankings, which is awesome. Hi, Vanessa. Yeah, it's crazy, and the offers are crazy and awesome. Thanks, Dan. He said our team's amazing. Thank you. So in the past, what people would look for in homes is kitchens, bathrooms, floors. They're like, is the kitchen redone? Is the bathroom redone? Are the floors nice? Or are they ugly carpet or whatever, purple and red and green and pink carpet or fuchsia carpet? But now they're looking at what kind of flex space is there? What is the yard space like? Is there room to have a home office? Is there room to have a home spot that we can school the children? What else? I said backyard space, right? Play space, and then just staycation, like I mentioned before. Pools outside, room to have like a tree fort, room to have, not say volleyball, but do you know what I mean? Like what are those called? Horseshoes. Have that nice fire pit, have that gazebo, have that pergola or whatever. They just want entertaining space outside. So those are now the main things people are looking at, not necessarily the kitchen. They're like foregoing the kitchen, and they're like, okay, it has a huge yard with a pool or whatever. So that is more of the trends of people lately. And just so you know, of basically anybody that's putting offers right now, you can't have conditions. So lots of people are like, well, I want it conditional on the sale of my house or finance or inspection or all of the above. And unfortunately, right now, if you want to get your offer accepted, you can't have those conditions. So, for example, of the one home yesterday that had the 18 offers, 11 of those offers had no finance, no inspection, no anything. And of those 11, 3 people had not even seen the property. So they had literally just watched, my Facebook Live, or Melissa on my team, or Tyler Kennedy or whatever, watch their Facebook Live and never been to the property, and they're buying the house without finance, without inspection, just buying it and putting $100,000 down. So if you are expecting to purchase a home right now and you are not comfortable with that, or you want conditional on the sale of your house, I personally wouldn't offer on it, because you're just going to push the other offers up in price anyways. Just reading people's things. Hope you guys are amazing. I love you all. So before, like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal were the big hot spots of where everybody was moving to, and now the big hot spots are rural, okay? So rural, if I could do like a banner behind a plane or whatever, it'd be like rural is the place to be or something. So basically everything within 2 hours of Toronto is where majority of people are moving to, and the top 3 places that they have moved to is Ottawa, Hamilton, and Niagara. Not saying that Barrie is not a hot place, because they actually did 2 articles about it, but I think Barrie was already a hot place and hot spot, and Hamilton wasn't as hot and whatever, so they got some more attention than normal. But Barrie has always gotten attention over the years, being like halfway to the Muskokas and so forth, and having basically like a little mini Toronto in Barrie and the waterfront and so forth. So Oshawa got over 6,000 new residents in 2020. Hamilton got over 3,600, I lied, residents in 2020, and Niagara got over 3,200. So people are just moving out of the cities, okay? So they're still move out of the cities. They can work from home. It is the new trend to get out of the city, okay? The only other place that went down so I was saying that they went up in how many people were living there. So 2 places went down. One is Toronto, so over 50,000 people moved out of Toronto in 2020, and the other is Windsor. It was only 44 people, but still everywhere else was up, like 1, 2, 3,000 people. Windsor was down 44 people, and Toronto was down over 50,000. 50,375 people moved out of Toronto in 2020. So AREA, which is the Ontario Real Estate Association, they put forth this bill to the government that basically said about 15 things that they think need to happen. And I won't go through all of them with you, but basically they said, like, for people to live rurally, they want to make sure that there's good internet everywhere. They want to make sure there's natural gas, so they're not like baseboard heat, etc. And they want to like help with like a rent to own program. So in case the people can't afford, say there were renters in Toronto and they still can't afford to own, they want to help them own. So those are the 3 biggest things, is making sure that there's natural gas, making sure that the internet is good rurally if all these people are going to work from home and need the high speed internet, as well as, what was the other thing I said? Rent to own, as well as rent to own. So those are the main things that the Ontario Real Estate Association is trying to get passed. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, they also are trying to get it so it's cheaper taxes if you live rurally, as an incentive to move rurally. So it's called Small Towns, Big Opportunities, and that's got those 15, basically requests from the government in it. And one of them is about giving tax incentives to people that live rurally, which is also cool. To live rurally, your home insurance is cheaper, your car insurance is cheaper, and you might pay cheaper taxes to the CRA, so that is cool. Before the pandemic, between 2008 and 2019, 87% of new jobs in that time came from Toronto and Ottawa, which is crazy. And so basically now, because so many people are working from home, they're realizing that they can live elsewhere, right? So I didn't know, to be honest, that not over, but 87% of jobs were in Toronto and Ottawa, the new ones made in that time. So now that they're like, okay, we can still have those jobs, but we can live in Aurelia, or we can live in Oshawa or Pickering or whatever. It's just giving people more opportunities and incentives to live somewhere where it doesn't cost 1.5 for a townhouse, okay? So they did a survey recently, and 27% of people said they definitely would consider living rurally as opposed to before the pandemic. So 27% said, yes, sign me up rurally. I want to live out of the city. And 34% said they would consider it, and they never would have considered it before the pandemic. So over 60% are either saying, yes, definitely I want to live out of the city, or I would absolutely consider it. So that is a crazy high amount. And not shockingly, obviously, but they did another study showing that basically your blood, sweat, and tears or whatever is actually making less than your home that's just sitting on its butt. And what I mean by that is people's homes are going up more in value than they're physically making. So they're going up more than the husband or the wife or both wives or both husbands or whatever are making individually as well as combined, obviously depending on their job, but an average. So the average home last year, where did I have it? Went up $98,900, and the average dual household income, so two people, is $86,670. So people on average are making $86,000 a year between the husband and wife, or wife and wife, or whatever, and the average home is going up $98,000. So the homes are going up faster, which makes me say, why are you renting? Because you can own, and the house will make more money for you. Hi, Shelby. Hope all is well. So that, being said, why are you renting? Because it's still supposed to go up 16.3% this year. So no renting if you can afford to get into the market. So in Barrie, in the last 24 hours, there was 24 new listings in the last 24 hours, one an hour. 4 of those homes already sold conditionally, which, to be honest, most homes are not selling conditionally. They're just selling firm, but obviously there's some. So 4 of those 24 sold conditionally. 18 sold firm. So if you add, obviously, those things up, you're like, holy, that's crazy. But obviously there was still some leftover listings from last week as well. And 4 people got keys to their property, which most people don't close on a Tuesday, so that's not very common. But 4 people got keys to the property. And then in the past week in Barrie, there has been 85 new listings. And of the 85, 79 have already sold firm, and 15 sold conditionally. So that means more than the amount listed have either sold firm or sold conditionally, because some were from the previous week, okay? So crazy, and 29 people got their keys. In Barrie, in condos in the last week, there was 10 new listings, 10 already conditionally sold. So again, more than were listed, because some were from the previous week. Maybe they were listed 9 days, 10 days, or whatever, so they have sold. And so 12 went conditionally, plus 12 went firm. So 24 homes already have either conditionally, of condos have either conditionally sold or sold firm, when only 10 new listings came up. So again, our lack of inventory, all of the bidding wars, it all makes sense. In ESSA, so obviously to the west, there was only 6 new listings and 11 sold. So again, they are having to dig into the past week and the week before's listings, because there isn't enough to sell 11 when there's only 6. And in Innisfil, there was 17 new listings in the past week, 3 conditionally sold, and 16 sold firm. So obviously 19 homes sold altogether, and only 17 were listed. So again, the bidding wars, right? So, and if you think about only 17 new listings, but literally we have way more than that just at our office, let alone everybody else's office in Barrie, let alone Toronto people coming up here, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, Thornhill, etc. So that is why all the bidding wars. In Oro, there was 6 new listings last week, and 9 already sold firm, which again, bidding wars, because there's no listings. And in Springwater, there were 6 new listings last week, and 11 already sold firm. Again, pulling from some from the week before, but that's why there's all the bidding wars, because there is no listings. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can ask in here, and otherwise I will just blibber blabber when I like to. So the next question comes from Janice and Aurelia. So Janice said, I was one of the 71 offers. Well, that was probably frustrating I'm sorry, Janice, don't hate me. I was one of the 71 offers you had last night on the cottage on the Severn River. How are local people supposed to compete, and do you see the bidding wars slowing down? I totally hear you, and it was probably super, super frustrating yesterday, like hearing 71 offers. I know that's insane, and it was insane for me as well. And luckily, like that's honestly the first time I've ever had to have 2 pages. I had 4 columns, 2 pages on, or sorry, 2 columns on each page of agents' names that had offered. And then agents would be like, well, what's the highest, not the highest offer, but it doesn't even make sense for me to put in blah, blah price. I hadn't opened any of them because it took so long to like organize that, to talk to everybody, make sure everybody was registered. So I apologize that that was frustrating. But sorry, your question was, how are local people supposed to compete? To be honest, it was a local person that bought it. It was a fellow from Barrie that bought it. So, I mean, local people are still competing, but there will be other properties, of course, like I said, as we get closer to summer, more people will list because a lot of people don't want to move when there's a foot of snow on the ground. Also, not everybody's comfortable listing right now with a pandemic. So as more people are getting vaccines and so forth, there'll be more people comfortable to list. So then there'll be more for you to choose from and more for the buyers to choose from. So less offers on them. So that can help, as well as we list our properties on a lot of different real estate boards, and we also advertise and are in like close correlation with overseas investors. So not everybody does that. So they might not have that insight. They might not have those extra people from foreign that maybe have deeper pockets than you do or so forth. So there will be other homes, and I apologize. But thank you for sticking in there and liking the home. But it did, yeah, it was listed $399 and sold $777,777, a whole bunch of sevens. But thank you, Janice, for being a part of the crazy madness of the bidding wars yesterday on that one. So there was a guy in Chicago, and I always like when people help, whether it's big or small. And so this fellow in Chicago, basically, you know how we have like street vendors, and obviously I haven't seen one in a long time because of the pandemic, but I used to always get hot dogs at them. But more in Chicago, they just kind of sell out of coolers. So people will just like bring their popsicles, or they'll be Mexican and they'll bring like something traditional to their culture or whatever, and they just go and sell them for the day. So there's this one fellow, and he's basically been going around and buying everybody's for the day. And so let's just say they have 100 or whatever, and he's like, how much are the 100? He buys them all, gives them a tip, and then he goes and gives it to homeless people. So I like that. He also gave 1,300 people Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. So that was really awesome. Next question is from Matt in Hillsdale. I watched your Facebook Live the other day, and there was a few hecklers, so to speak. I have similar people in my life. How do you deal with them so calmly and patiently without getting angry? To be honest, Matt, I'm pretty used to it. I bartended for years, so obviously you get like drunk people. So I'm used to it from that. I bartended for 13 years, so I'm used to kind of heckler people. But I just feel like it's their issues, not yours. Whatever they're projecting to you, it really has nothing to do with you. It's, you know, maybe their parent, their dad, their mom, whatever, their grandparent or a teacher, their whole life was like, you're never going to amount to anything, you're this, you're that, whatever. So they have that limiting belief of what they can do in life. And sometimes, you know, that spurs a lot of negativity, and they kind of want other people to be at the same level as them as well. So just don't take it personally. Just do you, be positive, be amazing, and don't let it get under your skin. But thank you for asking. Who is my next question? Oh, not question, thing. Was, even though he's gone, I'm sure you guys know Alex Trebek from Jeopardy. So on a side note, he was the longest ever game show host, 38 years or 38 seasons or whatever you want to call it. So he passed in November from pancreatic cancer, but I love that he's still giving, basically, even though he's not here. He gave a lot while he was alive, and he obviously has like a million suits and a million ties and what have you. So he gave it to this foundation called Doe Fund, which, like, here we have Dress for Success, so I imagine it kind of being similar. They help people like that are homeless, people that have been incarcerated, you know, they were in prison and so forth, and it helps them have attire to go to job interviews and so forth. And Dress for Success also helps, you know, women not maybe in the greatest of situations, trying to get out of those situations, whether they're homeless or maybe physically abusive, etc., and also helping them like with their resumes and how to act in an interview and so forth. So I like that. He said that don't tell me what you believe in. He said, I'll observe how you behave and I'll make my own determination. So I like that from Alex. And I'm sure you do not need to know anything about sports because I don't really know anything about sports to know who Steph Curry is, obviously, like basketball extraordinaire. So, him and his wife, Aisha, started an organization, nonprofit called Eat, Learn, Play. Reminds me of Eat, Pray, Love, the book or movie with Julia Roberts, but Eat, Learn, Play. And basically, he's like, I'm going to give a certain amount of people, or not a certain amount of people, a certain amount of money and just feed people until the money's out, which was 4,000 families, which is still crazy and amazing. And he basically wanted to do that when COVID happened and he sees all these people losing their jobs and so forth. But he basically like made a post about it with his wife and they put it on Twitter and they put like, if you would like to add, to our contribution or whatever, and they put a link. And so they fed 4,000 people with their own money. And now with these funds of other people donating, they've fed over 15 million families, which is crazy. So even if you only have money to feed like 3 people, but you post something or you do something and people think it's for a good cause, you might be able to feed hundreds or thousands or millions like they did. Hi, concern. How are your mortgage companies reacting to this boom? The bidding wars must be privately funded above the true market value. It seems pricing to entice a bidding war. It's a new norm. I have to press a button here because it says see more and I can't read it all. Hi, Aaron. Thank you for asking that. So he said, how are mortgage companies reacting to this boom? The bidding wars must be privately funded. So yeah, I don't obviously ask where, the people have their funds. We do, see pre-approval letters and so forth from their lender. But they could have like bought a home in Toronto for 200,000 and now it's worth 1.8. They've refinanced and they have like a line of credit against the home that they could use freely. But it is kind of like 2017 where let's just say somebody pays $850 for a home, but it's only getting appraised for $800. They have to come up with that extra 50,000 extra in a down payment. Or sometimes the bank will be like, hey, we were going to give you 1.29%, but now we want it 1.89% because now we think that you overpaid for the home or whatever. Or they'll have them put a cosigner on, or they'll have them blanket another mortgage. So let's just say that was a cottage, for example. They might say, hey, we think you overpaid for this cottage, so we want to put a blanket mortgage on your home. So if you don't pay for the cottage, you miss a payment for the cottage, then we can take your home in the cottage. So they have different things like that. But to be honest, a lot of them just have deeper pockets because these people are putting like 100,000, 300,000 down as a deposit, as opposed to like a lot of the locals are putting like 1,000 to 5,000. Hi, Kevin. How are you? So that's, yeah, basically they are either cash buying it. A lot of them are cash, to be honest, especially the ones I find that were just watching on Facebook Live. They literally didn't come to it. They're watching on Facebook Live. They haven't left their Toronto house or whatever since March of last year. And they do want to go somewhere this summer. So they want a cottage or they want to move somewhere and work from home somewhere else and cash out of Toronto or what have you. So that's basically, thank you for asking, is yeah, they're putting in appraisers or whatever and sending in appraisers. And then the people are prepared to pay that extra of whatever it goes above the comparable. So again, if comparables are 600 and they just spent 700, they might have to have that extra 100,000 down out of pocket as opposed to maybe the 5% that was all that they were planning on putting down. So thank you for asking. Just a reminder that, again, we do $2,500 on the first of every month we give away. You do not have to have any relation to Cripps Realty. The people just have to live in Simcoe County and they have to be over the age of 18. Send a video submission or a written submission to info@crippshomes.com. Again, info@crippshomes.com, and tell us who you are and who they are and why you think they should win. You're welcome, Aaron. It is a great time to sell. What was I going to say? They have to live. Oh, yeah. We got a submission yesterday, and it just said, I want to nominate my sister. Thanks. But tell us about your sister. Like, is she going through hard times? Is she a single mom? Is she an amazing person? Is she always going above and beyond at work? Is she always helping out the family and burning the candle at both ends? Or is she this or is she that or whatever? Like, just saying, nominate my sister, we really don't know anything about your sister, right? So tell us about your sister, tell us about your neighbor, tell us about whoever you're nominating so we can judge better of who we should give the $2,500 to on March 1st, okay? There is tons of great news, Scotty, beating records all the time, and locally everybody is obviously doing great and their homes are going up incredible in value, and then they take advantage of when there's more inventory and then they buy then or they bought a house, with 5% down at 400,000, so they only had 20,000 in. Now they just sold at 700,000, even though they just bought it a year and a half ago. Now they have all that extra equity, and then they can put that much more down on the next home. So they end up being in a nicer house, a bigger home, and a better subdivision, and they pay less payments. So that's basically what people are doing. Anyways, hope everybody is well. We have a bunch of lives this weekend. I don't remember how many new listings we have. I think 11 or something. So check out our lives this weekend. If you want to stay in your pajamas and stay snugly warm, you can check out the homes. We'll show you all around. You can ask whatever questions you want. And again, don't forget to nominate somebody for the $2,500 mortgage giveaway and rent payment giveaway. Whether they rent or own, it doesn't matter. We give them $2,500. Hope you guys are amazing and have an awesome night.